today's video I'll show you how to make homemade bread. It's nice and soft, as you can see in here. Once you made this bread, you won't ever buy a supermarket bread again. Nice and soft, as you can see in here, perfect for sandwiches, nice and easy to make. 4 ingredients, 3 actually if you want to can the water, and it's easy to follow the recipe for beginners. So let's get started. Okay, in today's video I will show you the simplest recipe for a bread. Anyone can make it at home, and once you make this bread you won't be buying any bread from the supermarket. All we need is a water. My tap water is not great, so I'm going to be using still mineral water, a bottled one. As you can see in here, it's filtered obviously. You can use filtered water or you can use it from the tap. If your tap water is okay to drink, then it should be okay for yeast. The problem is with the tap water, sometimes if it's bad quality it might kill the yeast. So you might wonder why your bread didn't turn out okay. It might be the water. So we'll need water, but it has to be room temperature or even warmer than room temperature, but not hot. This is very important because it's gonna help your yeast grow faster. So a bit warmer water will be perfect, and we need about we'll need 280 grams of water. I will tell you in a second how much is it in milliliters if you prefer. We'll need, of course, flour. Better quality flour, better quality bakes. I always say that, and it's true. If you live in UK, I recommend Allinson's flour. This one is very strong white bread flour. It's really good for bakers, sourdoughs, breads, everything. Really good flour, and I will show you how my bread looks like using this particular flour. So how much flour will we need? 350 grams will be perfect. Now yeast, this is very important. We're gonna be using fresh yeast, and we need 5 grams. Longer date on a yeast, that means the fresher yeast is, and you want as fresh as possible because it will work better. Fresher it is, obviously, fresher product, whatever you're making, it's gonna taste better and work better. So this is what we're gonna be using. Just 5 grams is enough. Rest you can leave in the fridge for later. And we need salt. Table salt is completely fine. If you've got I've got in here a Himalayan salt. This is the salt I've got, so I'm gonna be using Himalayan salt for this recipe. If you've got table salt, completely fine. And we need 7 grams. So that's all we need. Really pretty much 3 ingredients. If you want to swap your tap water for, you know, bottled mineral water, completely fine, go for it. If your tap water is fine, just use tap water. So it's pretty much 3 ingredients. And once you make this bread, as I said, you won't be buying a supermarket one for the reason that it tastes so much better. So let's get started. 280 grams of water. We're gonna warm it around 300 milliliters. So we'll need 300 milliliters of water. I'm gonna warm it up until it's still warm. I can't burn myself. Obviously you don't want it hot. Too hot can kill yeast. Too cold, not gonna make it yeast work. So you want it like quite warm, but not hot. And it's perfect. To this we're gonna add 5 grams of yeast. We're gonna put them in a small bits and then mix it. Stir it through with the water. Okay, now we're gonna add 350 grams of flour, bread flour. Okay, 350. Now I'm gonna add 7 grams of salt. 8 grams we have added of salt. Okay, now we're gonna mix it. We don't need to do anything. We simply mix all ingredients until we don't have any more dry flour, and we want to mix everything well. Especially, you can see with working with pink salt, we can see it if it's mixed well because it's pink. So it's actually good for beginners. As you can see here, there's no flour on the side, dry one anyway. We're gonna leave it to rest for 30 minutes in a warm place, and yeah, that's all we have to do, and cover with a cloth, kitchen cloth. Okay, as you can see here, doubled in size nearly, so it's doing really well. We've got cold water in here. What we're gonna do, we're gonna wet our hands and we're gonna stretch our dough. So we're gonna grab it, stretch it, and put it in the middle, stretch it in the middle, stretch it in the middle. So I have to use my one hand because the other one I'm recording, so just basically copy me. Okay, as you can see in here, it has grown a lot, so it's very healthy dough. In total, it was resting for 1 hour. We're gonna repeat the steps, so we're gonna stretch it and we're gonna leave for another hour, so it's gonna be 2 hours in total. So we're gonna repeat the steps. We're gonna leave it for 1 hour now. As you can see in here, our flour has doubled, it's huge. So it's grown really nice, healthy yeast. What we need to do now is put a bit of flour on the chopping board and take the dough out. I'm gonna stretch out and form a bread from this. Healthy bubbles, healthy dough. We're going to transfer now our bread to baking tray, just with baking paper. So we're going to transfer that and we'll leave it to double in size. Leave it for 1 hour to double in size. As you can see here, our bread has filled the baking tray really nicely. This flour is really good, so if you live in England, I recommend this flour for bread. What we have to do now is just cut the bread, so we're gonna cut it like 3, I think, yeah, like that, and then we're gonna put some water. This is allowing bread to be crispy later on while baking, so it's important. Okay, now last step, all we need to do is add some flour, sprinkle a bit of flour. To sprinkle the flour evenly, we use one of those. You can use the same flour you used to bake the for a dough. I like, for some reason, to use rice flours on top of my bakes, so highly recommend it. If you've got one, you can. If you don't, completely fine. Okay, now we have to bake our bread. We're gonna bake it for 30 minutes in total, but 15 minutes to start with under the cover, and then we're gonna get rid of the cover and bake it for another 15 minutes. So in total 30 minutes. I've got fan oven, so it will be in 210 fan oven. I will put all the temperatures for all the ovens in a description in the first comment below the video, time and all the ingredients, so it's nice and easy. So going into the oven now. And our bread has been made. Delicious.